Ajit Doval has through his entire life fought for the country. Now you are a supporter of the Stalinist philosophy. You first divorce yourself from the KGB. Now please, I am a fan of Ajit Doval, I'm telling you. I am an absolute fan of Ajit Doval. Who are you a fan of? Are you a fan of the ISI? I am a fan of Ajit Doval. Ajit Doval is one of the greatest nationalists of the country. What problem do you have with Ajit Doval? Because he slapped Pakistan hard in the face. Anyway, you are just a counter-revolutionary.
Is the slogan of Narendra Modi.
Now you decide. I'm asking you a question, Saugata Rai. Are you trying to block the FCRA bill indirectly on the instructions of the Americans?
We are against the FCRA bill. We shall
Why?
talk about it when it comes up in Parliament.
That's the real reason.
We are, the government may be in favor of Republican Party, Trump, Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio visited missionaries of charity. You visited missionaries of charity.
Marco Rubio visited missionaries of charity.
They have. No,
And his phone and tenor was anti-government at the time.
Nawaz Sharif, Modi.
Oh, we support the country.
Trump and calls him my friend Trump. Modi says Trump my friend and hugs him. So listen.
Saugata Rai, why did Mamata Banerjee meet missionaries of charity a day before they met Marco Rubio? What is Mamata Banerjee's links with the American deep state? You first tell me that. What is her links with the American deep state? What are her links with the American deep state? What are her links with the American deep state? Is she with India or not?
What is the link? What is the link between Modi?
No, what is her link with the American deep state?
Modi and Israel.
No, why did Modi and Israel? India and Israel work strategically together. Saugata Rai, Sudhanshu Trivedi will respond. It's all debate tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Why did Modi go to? Why did Modi go?
Where? Modi go where?
Just come here in your debate is a very serious and sensitive issue. Arnav, the issue which has now surfaced in your debate is a very serious and sensitive. I will just put up the facts. What happened after 2021, the post-COVID era, when India started emerging as a powerful situation at the national level, at the international level. Almost it's every parliament
session of Israel.
There is something appears from abroad, particularly from America. I would like to quote. In January 2021, on 29th of January 2021, the parliament session started. On 3rd February, a consistent statements of various foreigners on celebrities, so-called celebrities, came on farmers issue. On 19th of July 2021, Parliament session started. Report came. On 20th of July 2023,
so whoever opposes
Parliament session
Modi's
started.
government,
18th of July,
whoever opposes Modi's government will be.
On 29th of January 2023,
support
tonight. It's a hot debate. Sumesh has been holding on. Sumesh.
Actually, I want to, if you allow me, make a disclosure to Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, my role model. If you allow me, you are making my point.
Audio is bad. Audio.
Sudhanshu ji, I just all due respect to you, that I cannot name suggestion, but include a list. Some government agencies are having a team of lakhs and crores, the vehicle for our party, BJP voters can tell you.
Can't hear you, sir. Okay, Ramesh from Hyderabad. Ramesh.
able to understand what he is saying.
Yeah.
Anabji.
Yeah, Anand sir, good evening.
Yes.
Yeah, sir, I would like to speak about CJP. I'm comfortable to talk to Hindi.
Yes.
सर कल जो हुआ है कल जो सीजेपी के हार्ड में जो गुंडे और एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट जो कल दिल्ली में किया है वो बहुत ही निंदनीय है। कल से एक वीडियो वायरल हो रहा था, एक आम आदमी पार्टी का काउंसिलर का हस्बैंड है, उसका नाम आदि अफजल है, उसके ऊपर दिल्ली में पहली बार मोको का एक्ट पे वो बुक हुआ था, तो कल उनके चेले चकोटों के साथ आके वहाँ पे हंगामा।
Why are these people being allowed? Why are these Makoka accused in the protest? Okay, we are dropping it.
Yes.
Yes?
There are around 3 lakh of students are there.
They are not students,
There are
Vandana. They are all gundas.
There are 3 lakhs
No, no, they are not
students, including their parents are there.
Sudhakar, please, I'm telling you, Sudhakar. Please, Sudhakar, don't get too close to the Chinese. Santosh, don't be too close to the Chinese. Keep a distance from the. Find out how many students. I'm asking you, Santosh, how many students died? How many students died between 2004 and 2014? Do your research and come back, Santosh.
You become so.
No, what is wrong with you, Santosh? Why don't you understand it? How many thousands of students died then? Just for your narrow politics, you don't have an issue for the monsoon session. You want to burn the parliament.
Who told you?
Are you doing the right thing?
There are thousands of students. But
Really, you don't even know because you don't care. You don't care. You were in power. You don't care what you did when you were in power. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time I have tonight. With more facts, more exposes, more visuals, and the truth, and only the truth. I'll be back tomorrow. Good night and goodbye.
Unfortunately, it happened, and we are trying to bring all the people to the same place. Basically, the old age people and the infant. And after rescuing, we are.
On the nation's sharpest opinion, I address the big elephant in the room question. Can you believe the exit polls? On the nation's sharpest opinion, I address the big elephant in the room question. Can you believe the exit polls? Well, let me put the data on the table. Can you trust the exit polls? My answer is more often than not, yes you can. More often than not, yes you can. If you are trying to look for broad trends, the exit polls are more or less directionally correct most of the time. Nobody, I repeat, nobody is claiming that exit polls are surgically precise. But do exit polls tell you broadly who's going to win? I think on more occasions than not they do. I have with me, for example, 7 examples of big exit polls getting the elections right from 2009 Lok Sabha to 2025 Bihar Assembly polls. 2009 Lok Sabha, 3 got it correct. 2014 Lok Sabha, all 6 got it correct. I remember I was in Times Now then. I mean, I founded Times Now. It's a channel I started from scratch. I'm not responsible for how it is right now. But we got it.
ये डिटर्जेंट से जाएगा ना?
I wish. Wish नहीं, vanish करो. पर मैं तो अच्छा डिटर्जेंट ही यूज करती हूँ. डिटर्जेंट कोई भी.
sharpest opinion. I address the big elephant in the room question. Can you believe the exit polls? Well, let me put the data on the table. Can you trust the exit polls? My answer is more often than not, yes you can. More often than not, yes you can. If you are trying to look for broad trends, the exit polls are more or less directionally correct most of the time. Nobody, I repeat, nobody is claiming that exit polls are surgically precise. But do exit polls tell you broadly who is going to win? I think on more occasions than not they do. I have with me, for example, 7 examples of big exit polls on the nation's sharpest opinion. I address the big elephant in the room question. Can you believe the exit polls? Well, let me put the data on the table. Can you CIA know in advance about what the CJP was about to do? How did the CIA, the American intelligence, know about what the CJP was about to do? And at 9 o'clock tonight, the theatrics falls flat. AAP versus CJP versus Congress. Complete hypocrisy as the Tukre gang comes together and then fights among itself. Protest is a right, but lying is not. Deception and working against national interests cannot be allowed. The nation wants to know tonight, how did the American embassy know in advance about the details of the mass mobilization which was about to happen on the 20th and 21st of July, down to the last detail. This is a very serious matter. I repeat, how did the CIA, America's Central Intelligence Agency, know in advance which organizations would join, how they would try, which points they would congregate in, how would they try to break the border of the national capital region? Both the American embassy and the shady, mysterious, dirty tricks CJP need to explain what's going on. The Americans knew where the protesters would gather, down to the last point. They issued a full advisory a week before the Delhi police even put up a barricade breach. This is very mysterious. How did the CIA know? Now, just see the terrible, terrible, terrible violence which is going on now. The murderous and brutal violence and attempted lynchings of the Cockroach Janata Party workers, their murderous organized mobs, and examine the way in which Abhijit Dipke, surrounded by a murderous mob, points to the person who has to be lynched. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. He points a finger and then look at the way. He points a finger and then he tries to say that it is against it, but he's actually pointing a finger at a rapid action force personnel in uniform whose helmet is taken off and who is then almost murdered on the spot. Viewers, this is a dangerous man who has come from America. This is not Dipke losing control of his violent mob. This is his plan. His plan is to carry out lynchings and targeted lynchings of security personnel. His plan, if you see these visuals one after the other, is to spread violence and bloodshed in this country. The visuals tell you everything. This is an exact copy-paste implementation of the Nepal model, where between the 8th and 10th of September 2025, mass murders were carried out in Kathmandu and surrounding regions. Institutions were burnt with a singular American plan to carry out regime change. That is what the Americans wanted. So there was the use of an American social media tool called Discord, and it was used very effectively by the CIA, and that's how regime change happened in Nepal. And now, viewers, think of Sonam Wangchuk, the dangerous son of a very senior Congress politician. He's a dynast. Sonam Wangchuk is the son of a Congress minister. He had planned, in his own words, an Arab Spring type revolution in India in June 2025. He was getting money from foreign NGOs. And then on 24th September 2025, when his FCRA license was cancelled, he instigated something in which 4 people died and 60 people were injured in Ladakh. And then he kept talking about repeating the Nepal type violence in India. Sonam Wangchuk, I repeat, was getting a lot of money from foreign groups, and he was taking that money. And when his license was cancelled, he instigated the violence. So it's all about money for Sonam Wangchuk. Money and power. A lot of money, which he was getting from a foreign route, which this government put a lid on, and power because he wants to be a politician like his Congress minister father. Dipke, on the other hand, who is now leading the attempted lynchings in Delhi, has a different plan. He models himself on someone else, and you know who that is. He models himself on the anti-Hindu Delhi riots accused Omar Khalid. And there are instances after instances when he has been very, very active and vocal in his support for the Tukre gang. Now, Abhijit Dipke does not want to talk about that now. And the Bollywood brigade of Sonakshi and Shabana and all the rest of them who are supporting this member of the Tukre brigade would not like you to know that Abhijit Dipke has been a great fan and supporter of Omar Khalid, which proves that he is an official member of the anti-India group. Now he's trying to present himself as a student, which he is not. God knows what he's been doing for the last few years in the United States of America, which he doesn't want to talk about, by the way. Why did you ask? What were you doing in the US of A? What were you doing? Were you studying? Did you extend your stay? Did you extend your visa? What kind of job were you doing? What are your sources of revenue? Viewers, be logical. Assess things logically. Let the CJP answer the questions they face. Now, there are allegations they also are facing now with screenshots of emails from influencers that big money was offered, almost 65,000 per post, to make pro-CJP videos and push them on social media. 65,000 per influencer video and post. 10,000 such posts would require an aggregate net amount of 65 crore rupees. 65 crore rupees. If you're offering 65,000 in collaboration fees, that means you're ready to pay 65 crore rupees for 10,000 such videos, which is approximately the number doing the rounds. We want to know, and we have a right to know, who is pumping this kind of money, who is investing that kind of money into the Dipke murderous mob CJP group. Let the CJP explain. They're asking so many questions of others. Let the CJP explain, and especially now that their violence has crossed all limits. And the Republic Media Network has totally exposed with proof that the people who are claiming they are students, and we got some yesterday, when they come back after the violence, they say, we are not students at all. We don't study. We gave up studying in class 10. We're not going to give the NEET exam. We are happily employed somewhere else, which means it's a part-time occupation to carry out violence. Besides, viewers, and these are counterfacts, the CJP, these are the kind of people out there. These are not students. They're saying we're not students. We're just hanging around. We did some violence. We're coming back. That's it. Now, besides all of this, there are also some screenshots doing the rounds where CJP supporters are saying, and this is most shocking, it's been reported everywhere, there are WhatsApp groups they have where they're saying today is the last day of the Modi government. Another person says at least one person should die. If one person dies, then we will be able to put proper pressure on the government. What is going on, Abhijit Dipke, Shabana Azmi, Sonakshi? Why don't you ask these questions? Nasiruddin Shah, why don't you ask these questions? This Abhijit Dipke fellow who is carrying out mass violence in Delhi should also explain whether it is true that it has now come out that 3 very expensive, large-scale corporate influencer marketing agencies were hired to push his content. 3 major, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest of industrial groups would not have this kind of money. But for CJP, 3, as is reported, major influencer marketing companies were hired who put in money, invested money to push and pro CJP content. Is this why these nondescript YouTubers have been on the ground? Is this part of a paid campaign? Tell us, YouTubers, how much money are you getting? So viewers and nationalists, let's assess things rationally. Find out for yourself whether it is true also that the same American embassy of Donald Trump had organized workshops to train select journalists, to even pay money to select influencers, to pay money to select journalists, and that people happily took $10,000, $20,000, $40,000, $40,000, $50,000 because you see, some people are totally shameless. They don't care whether they are part of a deep state operation. Was this money paid by the Americans for free? Let me tell you one thing about the Americans. They truly believe there is no free lunch. So if they're giving 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 to random Indian journalists and influencers, are they doing it for free? No, they are not. They have an intent. This is the army they have, now they are putting it to effect. But I want to tell the Americans, put all the pressure that you want. We are not going to sign the trade deal on your terms. I want to tell the Chinese, put all the pressure that you want. Narendra Modi is still going to ensure that the Indian Ocean region does not become the Chinese area of influence. Do what you want, Rahul Gandhi and China. Rahul Gandhi and China, do what you want. We will have a strong presence in Nicobar. Rahul Gandhi and China, do what you want. India's presence in the Indian Ocean region will be unchallenged. So, finally, to countries who are using the Mir Jafars and Jayachans within, we want to tell you, the people of India are not going to watch and let you go unanswered. We will answer. We will answer with facts and with reason. Because remember, the enemy is watching India's growth. It does not like it. It will stop at nothing to destabilize our Bharat, our great nation. Let's repeat.
Cops assaulted, vehicles vandalized. The true face of the CJP protests has been exposed. Stones were pelted on police officers. Total anarchy was seen in the streets of the national capital. Several police vehicles were vandalized as the so-called students' protests took a disturbing turn. In another twist, the US Embassy advisory cautioning its citizens 4 days before the violence raised the question of foreign elements in the protests. So how did the US know of these protests? Were they involved? The playbook and the toolkit seems similar to earlier rounds of violence that the national capital has seen of late. From the Shaheen Bagh protests over CAA NRC in 2020 to the Red Fort protests of 2022 that were not by farmers. The questions over the origins and the conspiracy behind the Monday protests and the violence get murkier.
emergency press conference of the BJP. When it comes, we're going to cut to it. Rohan Gupta of the BJP, Subrashta and Sushil Pandit on one side. Piyush Joshi of the Aam Aadmi Party, Vivek Srivastava and Ratnakar Tripathi on the other. First question, Piyush, can you tell us how the American Embassy and the CIA knew about the nature of the protest, the location where the protest would happen, and more importantly than that, the places where the attempted breach of the National Capital Region would happen, and the places where these so-called groups would congregate in advance? How did they know in advance? Is there some line going on between the CJP and the American Embassy?
So your question is to me that how did the CIA and the American Embassy knew about all
Yes.
this? Well, this question
How
is
does the
for...
CIA and the American Embassy know about the CJP plans in advance?
Okay, so you know about that CIA, you're drawing that inference because of this advisory which has
I'm
been
not
issued
talking
by
about a
the
general
Embassy.
advisory, I'm talking about advisory which talks about specific areas,
Yeah,
places,
I got
places
the
to
point.
congregate and the dates when it happens, yeah, right?
I got the point, sir. I got the point, sir. Just allow me to respond. You know, this is not a question for me to answer. This
No, it is a question for you to answer because you're supporting them. You can't say, no, no. Subrashta, is this not a question for him to answer? When it's supporting them, you know, I'm asking how does CIA know? Now he's saying it's not for me to answer, how come?
That's what answer.
No, how is he
Allow me
saying not to
respond.
answer? Viewers, is it a question for AAP to answer? I think it's a question for AAP to answer because
AAP
you're in a tactical arrangement with them. You're in a tactical arrangement with them, with the CJP. Subrashta, what do you think? Should she answer that?
So answer all kinds of questions.
Louder, louder. Yeah.
We should answer all these questions because in a democracy, if you have a right to question the government and a right to dissent, then people also have a right to dissent against dissent. So it's a question, and it's a very factual question.
I understand, Subrashta. I agree with you on this, that there is a right to dissent and there should not be any kind of violence. What Arnab asked me was...
I'm not going to, no, listen, I'm not going to listen to a sermon on violence. After what the Punjab police has done
you just...
to the ITI protesters
You asked a pointed question
Punjab.
to a
Please,
Aam Aadmi Party person.
Arnab asked a simple question. I just amplified the intensity to say that yes, you should be able to answer. How does the CIA know of all this? It's a very simple
Could you
question.
please allow me to respond? Okay, so, you know, we talked about the same thing about Sonam Wangchuk and the government withdraws all the
No,
cases
I'm
against
sorry,
him on the Ladakh protest.
nobody mentioned Sonam Wangchuk.
Ladakh protest, nahi. Arnab, you just...
It's not a question of Sonam Wangchuk right now. The question is how did they...
Arnab mentioned
No,
Sonam Wangchuk in his introductory remarks, ma'am. I think you missed it.
No, I have also said, no, one minute, don't avoid this question, I'll come to Wangchuk. Piyush, I'll come to Wangchuk. But I repeat the same
Even if
question.
it is unpleasant for your ears.
No, nothing's unpleasant. Even the
So
abuse,
just allow me to
the
respond.
maro, police ko maro, tod do, sansad ko ukhad do, that is unpleasant to my ears.
Fair enough, that is unpleasant to my ears as well.
No,
I
I
agree
think
with
you like it.
I'm with you on this.
I think
I'm
you
with
like
you on
it.
this, but well, that's your presumptions. You know, you can presume anything about me or about anyone else for all I care. But I'm going to speak the truth here, however unpleasant it may be for your ears or for the ears of all those supporting Bharatiya Janata Party. It is for the government to answer. It is not for any
How does the
political party.
CIA know what the okay, is it a, okay, one minute. I think it's a legit
Ask
question.
any law spokesperson, bhaiya.
Yeah,
Ask
okay,
any
fine,
law
alright, now
spokesperson.
I show a video. Alright, bhaiya, alright, bhaiya.
The problem is, the problem is on the last day of each protest, whether it is the farmers' protest, whether it is the protest in Ladakh, whether it is the protest against this neat paper leak, you know, they conveniently turn violent. Protests which have been
What do you mean
peacefully for
conveniently
months.
turn violent?
अच्छा एक सिंपल सी क्वेश्चन मैं आपसे पूछ लेता हूँ कि भाई 19 तारीख के दिन हमें इतना पता था कि CIA और USS में इन्वॉल्व है किसने सरकार को रोका था नड्डा जी ने अभी भी बात करी नड्डा जी 18 तारीख को बात कर लेते
No,
17 तारीख को बात कर लेते 16 तारीख को बात
let me get Rohan in. It's a very, you must understand that the country has been pushed to a very dangerous situation where there is an attempted regime change by you. There is an attempted regime change operation that is going on and allow me. I have one visual to share. Please look at it
Madam, this is
carefully.
an attempted legitimization of paper leak which is going on.
No.
This is an
No,
attempted
by the way,
legitimization of
Piyush,
which have been shut down
Piyush,
since Narendra Modi
Piyush, the
was in
people,
power. That is going
Piyush,
on.
the people who were carrying out the violence, we asked them. Listen to me, don't speak up. We asked them, paper leak, NEET, they said we know nothing. We said, but NEET नहीं, NEET के बारे में कुछ नहीं पता है. क्या करना है? संसद को उखाड़ने आए, जलाने आए. नीट के बारे में कुछ पता नहीं. आप स्टूडेंट्स हो, नहीं हम पढ़ाई लिखाई नहीं करते. अच्छा आप स्टूडेंट नहीं हमको छोटी मोटी नौकरी कर रहे हैं, हम ऐसे टाइम पास कर रहे हैं, हमको वायलेंस करना है. Now you may call them students. Okay, now my question
Same
is,
remark.
now remember,
Same remarks you mentioned in your introductory.
your party.
In your introduction, now let me just allow me to respond.
Piyush, there are some other panelists. Can I go to them and I'll come to you in a minute? 1 minute.
Just
No,
one minute.
30 seconds. You've taken the entire first 10 minutes.
It is
Viewers,
just
remember.
an old Bollywood movie in which goons of the party in power come
No.
participate in protest and make it violent.
Okay, now-
in this case, it is the ED
The
party.
violence has been extreme. I would not make it a big issue, but I want to show a visual full frame where Abhijit Dipke is pointing a finger in the direction. Abhijit Dipke is pointing a finger. He knows what is going to happen, and on his instruction, on his specific instruction, the mob starts attacking and almost kills a rapid action force officer. I say, who the hell is this America returned Abhijit Dipke to try and organize a lynching of a rapid action force officer? And viewers across India, if you're going to allow this to continue, if you're not going to question it, know that the nation's future is at risk. And Rohan, I don't know why you're allowing it. The violence is extreme. Let me run 1, 2, 3, 4, all the instances of violence tonight. Because I want the people of this country to choose.
No.
If you're going to allow this murderous violence, this mob mentality in our country,
Let me answer. I think my name is Rohan and he is Vivek. He has forgotten that. Let me complete. Vivek.
Vivek and Rohan, take the visuals in the middle and show all the visuals of the violence. Producers, not just one. Thank you.
Yeah. So Arnav, in democracy, everybody has right to protest.
Run the
Yesterday morning, you see that government has maintained the restraint. Everything was
How many
smooth.
visuals?
It was only afternoon this toolkit got activated, and the kind of news what you are giving that the two, three agencies were activated, social media, the kind of attacks were made against the police to incite them. So it is all planned, and that is what we have to see that this toolkit is again active, like what we have seen in Red Fort toolkit or at the time of farmers. It's dangerous for the country. And what? Let me complete, Vivek. I am not speaking between. Let me complete, Vivek. Then you can speak. Let me complete. So Arnav, the problem here is it has to be investigated that if it is students' protest, how can they hire such a big agencies? It means it is pre-planned. Number one, if up to afternoon yesterday everything was normal, what happened after afternoon that it got incited because they felt that what they wanted, they could not achieve. And government successfully handled the issue.
And you feel they don't have demands, tell them not to talk to us.
Successfully afternoon. After that, because of their objective was not achieved, all these people got activated, and we could see whatever it is. Still, the police corps, they maintained the restraint. We could see stone are pelted. We could see how police people were being injured. And so this is not a normal protest. We have to differentiate between the students and the elements which have joined this afternoon. That is dangerous. Because this is the politics of this current political opposition, where they are not getting support from the people. They are hiding behind mukhota of this kind of people and doing whatever they want to do. This is dangerous for the country. Again, I am telling, in democracy, everybody has right to protest. But at the end of the day, you use the protest for your political gains, and in past you have failed on many occasions, and still you are trying to do, playing with the security of the country. I think that is a dangerous thing for the country. And this country is smart enough, the youth of the country is smart enough to understand the differentiate between the real protest and the political protest.
I now want to show you another point tonight. I'll take a moment, viewers. Before I come to Ratnakar Tripathi, Sushil Pandit and the others, I want to tell you, if I can run anywhere the visuals with the ambience when the policemen are being beaten up. And this murderous group, none of them are students. Let me tell you, they are all frauds, they are professional gundas. They are gundas, they are only going maro. Audience, can I increase the ambience, viewers? You will see the visuals, you will see the Maro Maro visuals. They are saying Maro Maro, and this is.
These are one-sided visuals.
Oh, I'll show you one-sided visuals, my dear. Don't worry about it.
On ventilator.
Yeah, now I want to tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing. The Red Fort incident, don't forget, reduce his volume. He's a real, I'm telling you, this guy is a real North Korea supporter. Listen to the video. Seeing who's attacking whom. You're seeing how the security personnel are being attacked. You've seen how the Rapid Action Force personnel was almost lynched on the instruction of Abhijit Tipke. You think these visuals are AI generated? They are not. This is the reality of what is dirty CJP is all about. We must confront fake people like Nasiruddin Shah, Shabana Azmi, and all these people sitting between Pali Hill and Breach Candy and thinking they can tell us about what is right for the country. If you want to choose to be anti-national, I tell them you can be. But we are not going to be quiet and not counter you for it. Okay? So speak for yourself, my dear. Now listen to me. We saw what happened in Red Fort. We saw what happened in Red Fort. And look at these visuals. Policemen being beaten. We saw what happened in Red Fort. In 2021, the Tukre Tukre gang brought down the tricolor in the Red Fort. In 2026, this Tukre Tukre gang, these Umar Khalid supporters, this ISA kind of people are on the street organizing violence in the national capital. I ask you tonight, viewers of Republic, members of the Nationalist Collective, nationalists, Rashtrawadis, how long will you allow this? How long will you allow these paid people to try to break up the country? And I think it is important that Rahul Gandhi reveals what his arrangement with the Chinese is, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you why, Sushil Pandit and Ratnakar Tripathi, because this is going to be helping China. You will ask why. I'll tell you why. Can I come back on screen? You see, viewers, Prime Minister Modi visited Seychelles in the end of June. Within 10 days, he went to Indonesia, 6th to 8th of July, where the long-stalled Sabang-Nicobar strategic corridor was on the table. All of this feeds India's Great Nicobar project, which is an $11 billion transshipment port, international airport, military infrastructure at the mouth of the Strait of Malacca, through which the majority of China's energy imports pass. If Narendra Modi's Great Nicobar project is created, right, it is India's answer to Beijing's quote-unquote Malacca dilemma. This is a project which will allow India to monitor and potentially interdict Chinese naval and merchant traffic at the second largest oil choke point on the planet. India will become very powerful. China will be majorly affected. Now remember what happens within days of Modi's Indonesia trip, where he said, don't forget, Nicobar is only 150 kilometers from Indonesia. Immediately, General Secretary of CPM, M.A. Baby, lands up and meets the Chinese embassy officials. Within days of that, he meets Cockroach Janata Party founder Abhijit Tipke. When Republic confronts M.A. Baby about the Chinese embassy event, he tells Republic's reporter Harsh, don't misbehave, shut up, and walks away. Ladies and gentlemen, the CJP Wangchuk protest explodes into violence exactly 5 days later on the opening day of the monsoon session. And that is why, Sushil Pandit, Congress must explain what its China link is. We are not going to let this go unanswered. We want to know whether this is the same party where the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation took money from the Chinese embassy. We will ask. We will ask.
Resign.
And everybody in the country will start asking now.
Electing a wrong man. That is the problem.
Vivek Jinping, keep quiet. Keep quiet, Vivek Jinping. This is Republic. NEET has. You keep quiet. Have you ever sat for a NEET exam? Huh? You keep quiet. NEET is over. NEET has been held. It's been a successful retest. 58% of the people passing are women. Now I saw some people at the CJP protest. You know what they were saying, Sushil? I got 300 out of 700. Dharmendra Pradhan must resign. Who are these fools? You got 300 out of 700, you failed the NEET exam. You failed it. Try better next time. Keep quiet. Keep quiet. Jinping. Ratnakar and this one, Sushil, take him off here.
Yes. Arnab, if it was not clear to you when the leader of opposition suddenly became an environmentalist, left the assembly election campaign in the middle to go to Nicobar in order to stall a certain project. That was his priority. In the middle of elections, he goes away, leaves his party in lurch. And what for? To save a few trees in Nicobar Island.
Yeah.
To stall a project.
Chinese.
That's what he did. That is the level of commitment to Chinese interests. Of course, we should not talk about the MOU about which they don't want to go public for the last almost 20 years now. Of course, we should not talk about the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation getting all kinds of donations from them. But more than that, Arnab, the point is, you have in the panel a person who is never shy of defending Tiananmen Square crackdown where people were run over by tanks. And here he is saying that a baton charge was not in order, even when the protesters went violent. That is the level of hypocrisy you have to encounter when you have fifth column in this country proudly wearing their allegiance on their chest. He is not the only one. There is a bunch of indoctrinated people, whether it is in Congress, whether it is in the left movement, who will sell us down the street so cheap for power. The same party had Mani Shankar Iyer going to Pakistan on a TV show saying, "इन्हें हटाइए, हमें लाइए, फिर देखिए कैसे दोस्ती होती है हिंदुस्तान और पाकिस्तान."
Salute ministers. They are not psychopaths.
You know that person? What was you know, Mani Shankar Iyer was in Cambridge in 1960.
You do. That is the difference.
War was happening, and this man was lobbying support for China in that war. They called India an aggressor, and they were raising
open calls. People want to call.
Sources for China. Mani Shankar Iyer, I'm naming him. In 1962, when he was in Cambridge, he supported China in Indo-Chinese war.
Shame.
He was member of a leftist group there. That is the DNA of people you are dealing with, Arnab.
Yeah.
There is no surprise about it.
No.
There shouldn't be any shock about it. We should be better prepared.
Yeah.
We have to be better prepared.
Now another thing which is coming out, Ratnakar Tripathi, and please answer the specific question. Is the 65 crore part, 10,000 posts, 65,000